What is going on, everyone? And in this video, I'll be giving you my UFC Fight Night Song versus Simón UFC Vegas 72 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday, April 29, 2023 out of Las Vegas, Nevada in the UFC Apex. You saw how they took the other fight, Song Yadong versus Ricky Simón. They moved him to this one because, I mean, what were you going to do, right? Otherwise, this card would have been absolute shambles. And it would have probably been, I don't know, because they're definitely not going to do, I mean, I don't even know what they would put on it. Like, no one knows the co-main event, to be honest, let alone the main event being the bantamweight. But I think bantamweight pretty exciting. That's probably why they did it. You know, they just picked the fight where they think there's going to be a banger and threw it as the main event. But that's what happens, man. We have a lot of these cards. Sometimes fights, you know, just aren't there and you really got nothing. In order to do this every week, I mean, it's gonna be hard to keep the main event together or whatever. Just putting cards together, it's gonna be pretty hard with names at least. But either way, let's go ahead, jump right into it. In the first fight on the main card, we have Rogério de Lima, 29-1, taking on Cortes-Acosta, 9-0 in a heavyweight bout. So this is a pretty interesting fight because I actually think it'll go to decision. You have Lima, he's gonna come out swinging heavy shots. He's gonna slow down a little bit. He can't mix in that grappling, so that'll be interesting to see what he does there. Cortes-Acosta, not your typical heavyweight. You know, really good jab. A little bit early on, light on his feet. He obviously has KO power, but he's not necessarily. I mean, you know, as he slows down, he'll start brawling or whatever. But early on, I think he's gonna be pretty light on his feet. Is susceptible to getting leg kicks, so that's a little concerning. Lima has some pretty nasty leg kicks in there, so we'll have to see what happens with that. If Lima could chop away at him and then mix in the takedown, especially if he's able to get it early on. I could feel like him wearing on Acosta. He has to be careful though, because Acosta, you know, if he's able to put up a lot of volume and Lima's not really able to take him down, you know, he could definitely get pieced up. But at the same time, it's heavyweight. Lima could take advantage of Cortes-Acosta slowing down a little bit, and then you never know what can happen. But I think overall, De Lima is going to be the better overall heavyweight, right? Like, he has the KO power, he has the grappling. I think he can stay in the fight. And Cortes-Acosta might be lighter on his feet early on and all that, but I don't really see Cortes-Acosta diving in for takedowns like that. Yeah, I really just don't see him diving in for takedowns or whatever. So he's gonna have to be a little bit careful if he does get a little bit tired and then he does get taken down. Not a place he wants to be. So we'll have to see. Both guys are dangerous. I mean, it could honestly get a little bit sloppy, which is why I'm leaning towards a decision, just because I think everyone's probably expecting a knockout. But then if they get sloppy, go back and forth, and then they put on actually a pretty decent heavyweight fight, and then one of the fighters wins via decision. So my pick for this fight is going to be Rogério de Lima. I'll take him to actually defeat Cortes-Acosta by decision. In the second fight on the main card, we have Julian Erosa, 28-11, taking on Fernando Padilla. This is an interesting fight. Really don't have too much tape on Padilla. Obviously, he's had some wins outside of the UFC. Pretty lengthy fighter. Looks to be a little bit aggressive early on. You know, he's definitely going to go forward. And both fighters being like basically the same reach or whatever, same size. I think you could see a distance game a little bit, right? No one wants to rush in and get KO'd or anything like that. For Julian Erosa, he is coming off of his loss against Alex Caceres. He got head kicked. Unfortunate for him. One thing I'll say about Erosa is that he does tend to struggle once he fights some of these top level guys, and you know that is a little concerning, just because he gets to that point and then he ends up losing the fight. Obviously, getting head kicked and then finished by Caceres wasn't really the best, but I think Erosa was having a hard time judging that distance, finding his way to get on the inside of Caceres. And maybe you see something like that with Padilla, where he makes it a little bit, he makes him hesitant to rush in on him or whatever, and then you see Padilla trying to pick him apart. Maybe there's a little bit of grappling going on here. Obviously, Erosa finds a lot of success when I think he's able to get those takedowns. It opens up other things, but he has to be careful, right? Padilla can definitely pull off a defensive submission, and it's hard to judge what we're going to see with Padilla because, you know, he had some visa issues, wasn't able to come here, so we haven't really seen him be able to get a fight in there and have something fresh memory. And he's coming in against a guy like Julian Arosa, who he's fought some pretty decent guys, right? It's not like this is his second fight in the UFC or something like that. So I think it's going to be a pretty big test for Padilla, just because you're fighting a named guy in the featherweight division, has more experience than you, and at the same time, he's coming off of a loss, so obviously Erosa wants to get back, so he's motivated to get in there. I think Erosa, you know, mixing in the takedowns, putting together some of the volume that he has, I think it should be enough here to get the decision victory. Maybe Padilla is very tough here, and at the same time, you know, Arosa has everything to lose, right? It's not like Padilla's coming in here with a name. I mean, this dude's got a black silhouette for his fighter profile picture, and you know, Arosa, he doesn't want to lose to a guy who's just coming in here off of a little bit of a layoff and get absolutely crushed. So maybe Arosa tries to fight a little bit smarter, tries to get that takedown a little bit early on, push him against the fence, try to drain him out, and fight a pretty safe fight, I guess you could say. So with that, I think Fernando Padilla, obviously a contender. We'll have to see what he can bring to the table, but you know, I just almost feel like it's disrespectful to go against Arosa in this situation. So I'm going to go Julian Arosa to defeat Fernando Padilla. I'll take him to win by a decision. In the third fight on the main card, we have Rodolfo Vieira, 8-2, taking on Cody Brundage, 8-3, pretty close records in a middleweight bout. Brundage is coming off of a loss against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk via punches and hammer fists in round number 1. He actually, I think he got the takedown in that fight, but unfortunately for him, I think he got 3 takedowns in that fight, got reversed, I think it is one of them, and then got hammer fisted into hell. So it really didn't play out well for him. He did take out Trayshawn Gore. He was actually getting backed up against the fence, and then he just clipped him with one punch and then was able to take him out. You know, in his first 2 fights, he lost to William Knight, then he lost to Nick Maximoff. So he's 2-3 inside the UFC. For me, Brundage isn't, you know, I don't really see anything crazy. Takedowns, maybe. I don't think he's going to want to take down Rodolfo Vieira in this one, obviously. I don't think that's a smart decision, especially early on when he's fresh. Like, that's probably going to be the last thing he wants to do. Vieira can hit hard. I think he has a pretty decent chin, so knocking him out or something like that, maybe Brundage is able to create some chaos in there. But I think at the end of the day, Vieira is going to obviously look towards the grappling, the submission skills if things get a little bit crazy on the feet. And I'm just not too sure that Vieira isn't going to have too much of a hard time submitting Brundage, right? And so that just alone, you know, banking on Brundage rocking him or something on the feet and then taking advantage of that, that's a little sketchy. So for me, Vieira is really going to have to mess up on this one. Like I said, probably get rocked to fumble the bag here and not be able to get the finish. So I'm going to have to go Rodolfo Vieira just because, yeah, I think if he gets Brundage to the floor, Brundage isn't going to find a way to get back up. So I'm going to go Rodolfo Vieira to defeat Cody Brundage. I'm going to take him to win by round 1 submission. In the co-main event of the evening, we have Caio 13-1, taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, 18-5 in a middleweight bout. So for Borralho, I think it just comes down to whether or not he's going to be able to get Oleksiejczuk on the floor, hold him down for enough, and, you know, threaten with submissions, possibly get the ground and pound, tire him out. Because I think on the feet, Oleksiejczuk, he's going to definitely threaten with that power, with the aggression, kind of like how he took out Sam Alvey. I think that was pretty good. And honestly, I don't really see Oleksiejczuk like reversing the position here. I think Borralho is a good grappler, obviously, but you know, just to see how he was able to reverse Cody Brundage and then get the finish in that one. You know, he did get taken down 3 times, But like I said, he was able to reverse that, I think the final one, and then he was hammer fisting him, and he was able to get that finish. So he can also generate some pretty decent power, Oleksiejczuk. And on the feet, I think he's probably going to be able to land the harder shots, so Borralho has to be careful. But Borralho, like I said, resort to that grappling, and I think his grappling is going to be a lot more dominant than Cody Brundage, so I don't really see him getting reversed. And at the same time, Borralho threatened with submissions, constantly changing positions, take his back, stuff like that. If you can mix that in and control him, you know, you can make him a tough outing. But on the feet, Borralho has to be very careful. Oleksiejczuk can definitely land some big overhands, some big bombs, and you know, one of those could just change the entire fight. But then Borralho might obviously dive in for the takedown, and we'll have to see what happens with that. I mean, we've seen fighters get rocked before and then be able to still survive, and then they pull off a decision because they resort to that wrestling, and the wrestling is so dominant, they're able to control the fight, right? So I think this is a pretty good fight. On the feet, side with Oleksiejczuk. On the ground, obviously Borralho. But who knows? Borralho, I think he can land some pretty good shots as well. So don't count out his striking. I'm just saying that because I think Oleksiejczuk isn't going to be the one diving in for takedowns in this fight. So with that, I'm going to go Caio Borralho to defeat Michał Oleksiejczuk. I'll take him to win by decision. In the main event of the evening, we have Song Yadong, 19-7-1, taking out Ricky Simón, 20-3 in a bantamweight bout. You know, obviously there's a reason why they put this as the main event, took it off the other card. Bantamweight division, someone's either gonna get taken out, or you know, it's gonna be a pretty back and forth fight, a pretty close fight, and I think it'll be pretty exciting as long as Song Yadong isn't getting taken down consistently, because then he might just get held down and not much for him. Maybe get submitted actually. But for Ricky Simón, coming in this one with a win over Jack Shore last year, via submission via arm triangle. Before they took out Rafael Sunsao, KO'd him. But see, this is the thing. He fought Rob Font, which is probably like the best guy on this entire list. Montel Jackson back in the day. Merab Dvalishvili. So, I mean, it's funny because he's actually beat like really good guys. He lost to Uriah Faber, KO'd. And then he lost to Rob Font. Took him down 6 times. He's taken everyone down. So I mean, even though in the fight against Dvalishvili, I mean, he at least got 2 takedowns in that one, even though he got taken down 6 times. But this dude's taking down everyone. So I have no doubt in my mind that Simón is going to be able to take down Song Yadong here. It's just a matter of how many times and whether Song Yadong, is he going to be able to get back up? Is he going to light him up when he gets back up? Maybe. Because there's no way Song Yadong is going in for takedowns. No way he's going in for these takedowns. He wants nothing to do with it. He doesn't have to deal with such a volume striker though, like Corey Sandhagen, right? He doesn't have to deal with the spinning elbows, getting cut open like that. At least not on the feet, in my opinion. I think Simón is obviously going to look to the wrestling, and then if he's landing on the feet, it's going to be heavy hooks and stuff like that, not anything like spinning elbows or, you know, throwing his elbow up the middle. Like, he's not going to be doing that stuff. He's going to be really trying to trade with him in close, and that could cause problems for Song Yadong. Obviously, if he's getting tagged, you get tagged a little bit too much, then there's who has the better chin. Simón has pretty good chin. Song Yadong obviously has a pretty good chin. So I think that makes it a pretty exciting fight. It's just that, you know, this is probably that. I mean, this is obviously that next step up in competition for Ricky Simón in a while now, just because Song Yadong just fought Corey Sandhagen. So if Simón can win this fight, he's going to obviously be in contention. That wrestling, though, it's just, you know, I don't think that Song Yadong necessarily is going to get beat on the feet, but it's just that having to deal with that chain wrestling where Simón's like taking you down, dragging you down, switching positions, picking you know, he's going to be constantly looking for another way to get you to the floor, and he can keep that pace, right? So that's draining, and he can threaten with the submission as well. And that's kind of really good though, because if Simón sees an opportunity, rather than just running in, right, diving in and trying to land on the ground and pound, whatever, and getting reversed or whatever, getting caught, he could look for the submission. So he's not necessarily going to just run in on someone and get taken out like an idiot. But Sung Yadong, very tough. Like I said, good chin. Needs to step up his volume a little bit more, especially against a guy who's probably not landing all those shots. And then obviously if he gets taken out, he has to pop back up, light him up on the feet. Anytime Sung Yadong's on the feet, he's got to be doing something, popping something out, leg kicks, all that. But Simón has some pretty good leg kicks as well. So yeah, for this one, I just think Ricky Simón is the overall better fighter. Depending on what he's, if he starts trading a little too much with Sung Yadong, that could be concerning. Again, mixed martial arts fight. It's not just about trading in the pocket. So yeah, I would hope that Simón does look towards his wrestling, and if he gets him down, he's working ground and pound, something like that, and making it a tough fight on Sung Yadong. Sung Yadong is tough, so I don't know if he gets taken out here. I could actually see him maybe getting submitted somewhere in there. I mean, he's never been submitted, so maybe not even that. I guess would be surprising, but I could definitely see Sung Yadong losing a decision, just because even if both dudes have a little bit low volume, Simón is able to mix in those takedowns, and obviously for judges or anything, getting those takedowns is going to be a game changer. It's gonna be that one thing that moves the judges in the right direction, and they pick Simón, even if it's by a split decision. But to fight the next level of competition, I would also like to see one of these guys get a pretty big win here, whether it's submission or KO or whatever. So, but that being said, solid main event, good step up in competition for Simón in a little bit, and see if he can get back in there. And then obviously for Sung Yadong, what's he going to do? Is he going to defend those takedowns? Is he going to put the volume up, light Simón up with combinations, put him down? Or is he going to let him get to him? So, but for the main event, I have to go Ricky Simón to defeat Sung Yadong. I'll take him to win by a decision. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Vegas 72 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday, April 29, 2023. Sung Yadong versus Ricky Simón. Leave your comments down below. Who are you picking? I know somebody commented last week that they were going with Sung Yadong, so that's pretty interesting. But we'll have to see, right? We'll have to see. Leave your comments down below. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. See you guys in the next video.